Every single book which I've toppers suggested, but nothing worked for me.
I was like कि नहीं होगा छोड़ देते हैं, नहीं हो रहा है तो क्या फ़ायदा इनको दोबारा पढ़ने से.
I would like to thank StudyIQ. I got connected to StudyIQ.
StudyIQ ने मेरा मेंस तक मैंने साथ दिया, उसके बाद भी उन्होंने मेरा साथ नहीं छोड़ा.
And I have taken this mock at StudyIQ.
And I would recommend StudyIQ.
Yes, I will definitely recommend StudyIQ.
Hello everyone, I am Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English channel. In our today's video, we are going to cover a very important political and military alliance known as North Atlantic Treaty Organization, abbreviated and more popularly known as NATO. Right, why are we discussing NATO? Let's find out. Now, between June 24th and 25th, NATO summit is going to happen, which is a yearly summit. And ahead of this summit, the NATO's chief has urged its member nations to have a 4-time boost in their defense-related spending to tackle rising threats that the NATO is facing, like the threats from Russia. Similarly, NATO has also proposed its member countries to increase their defense spending to about 3.5% of their GDP and additional 1.5% of their GDP for related infrastructure. And few months behind, President Donald Trump earlier made a very important comment in the regards of expansion of NATO to Ukraine. He said that Ukraine joining the NATO alliance will be an impractical possibility. So in these two contexts, let us analyze first how NATO functions, what are the important members of NATO, and how has NATO expanded since the time it was formed. And because of this expansion was the primary reason why currently both Russia and Ukraine are involved in a war, right? Now, first, let us understand the origins of NATO. NATO was founded in 1949 with the signing of what is known as North Atlantic Treaty. It is popularly called as Washington Treaty. And the aim of signing this treaty was to act as a deterrent to the threat of Soviet expansion in Europe after the end of World War II. So after World War II ended, both West as well as East, represented by USSR, they wanted to increase their span of influence. And both of these countries were involved in a competitive expansion. So to control the expansion of USSR, the Western allies led by US signed this Washington Treaty to form what is known as NATO today, and it was founded on the principle of collective defense, which is mentioned in Article 5th of the Washington Treaty. This collective defense means that if one NATO ally is attacked by any enemy country, then NATO will consider that all NATO allies have been attacked and NATO will respond in togetherness with all countries dealing with the enemy. So this is the most important principle of NATO, that it works on the principle of collective defense. So far, Article 5th has only been invoked once. This was in response to the 9/11 terrorist attacks, which destroyed Twin Towers in New York and other important military infrastructure in the country of US. So US envisage the help of NATO using or invoking the Article 5th provision, that means provision or principle of collective defense. So NATO considered that an attack on US, which is a member of NATO, was an attack on every member of NATO, and they responded in togetherness, right? Now, the nature of this organization, it is a political and military alliance of 32 countries collectively, which includes countries from North America as well as Europe. And this body is headquartered not in North America, but in a city in Belgium, that is Brussels, right? Now, the founding members of these NATO, they were only 12, which included Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, UK, and US. And subsequently, we are seeing that NATO is increasing its membership. The most recent joining of NATO is Finland, who joined NATO in 2023. Similarly, Ukraine has also given us documents and has formally submitted its application to join NATO in 2022, and it has received assurances at the Vilnius summit in 2023 that eventually Ukraine will become a member of NATO. And this formally accession of Ukraine into NATO is a cause of the Russia-Ukraine war. How this is a cause of Russia-Ukraine war, I'll tell you in our today's discussion, okay? First, let us understand how the expansion of NATO happened, right? Now, in 1990, the surprising aspect is that the then Secretary of State of US government, he promised or assured then ruler of USSR, Mikhail Gorbachev, that not an inch of NATO's present military jurisdiction, present means in 1990, will be spread in eastward direction. So in a way, US assured USSR back then that NATO won't expand eastwards and towards Russia. But in fact, you'll see from our today's discussion that NATO has continued this expansion quite steadily, and it has expanded eastward, adding now members who were former Soviet allies and satellite countries as its members. So this expansion of NATO eastward was the biggest security threat that was envisaged by Russia, and it led Russia to war in Ukraine. Now in 1999, which was less than a decade after the collapse of erstwhile USSR, former Warsaw Pact countries like Czechoslovakia, now which is known as Czechia, Hungary, Poland, they became members of NATO, right? So they were earlier the allies of USSR. They were part of Warsaw Pact, which was seen as a response of NATO itself. Now these countries, they've become a part of NATO, right? So this is an example of how NATO has expanded eastward. Right. Similarly, in 2004, more Warsaw Pact countries like Bulgaria, Slovakia, formerly which was a part of Czechoslovakia, Romania, they've joined NATO, as did former or erstwhile Soviet republics like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and even Slovenia, which was former a part of Central Yugoslavia. Slovenia is actually the home country of the current First Lady of United States, Melania Trump, right? So all these countries eventually became a part of NATO. So did Albania and Croatia, who joined NATO in 2009. Montenegro and North Macedonia joined it in 2017 and 2020, and expanding NATO's eastward European footprint. NATO now is literally at Russia's doorstep. How NATO is at Russia's doorstep? Let me demonstrate to you with the help of a map. Now, as you can see from this map, the countries highlighted in the dark blue are the founding members of NATO, right? So NATO was founded in 1949, and countries which are highlighted in dark blue like UK, France, Germany, etc., these were founding members of NATO. And slowly by slowly, as the color becomes lighter, you'll see NATO has expanded in the east direction towards Russia here, right? So this is Russia, this is Ukraine. Now Ukraine has currently expressed its aspiration to join NATO and has been given assurances by NATO that it will eventually become a member of NATO. So Ukraine basically shares its border with Russia, and that is why I told you slowly by slowly expansion, you will see border states of Russia, they have joined NATO. So these are members of NATO. Similarly, these Nordic countries also, these are also now part of NATO. So therefore I told you NATO now literally is at Russia's doorstep, which is quite clear from this map, as the countries increasingly, slowly by slowly, in decades after 1949, they've moved eastward, and now NATO is right at the footsteps of Russia. So let us understand how Russia perceives this eastward expansion of NATO. Is it a threat for Russia or is it not? Now, expansion of NATO presents Russia with a classical case of security dilemma. Now, security dilemma is a concept in international relation, right? It says that suppose if I'm a country and I expand my military, so my neighboring country, it will feel threatened, because although I'm expanding my military for internal security need, but that country or my neighboring country will feel that I'm increasing my military capabilities to attack their country, right? So this is a case of security dilemma. Similarly, expansion of NATO has been interpreted by Russia as a security dilemma, which actions of one state itself to make itself more secure will be perceived by another state as it will making them less secure, and therefore it will lead to spiral of hostility between these two countries. And Putin, who is the president of Russia, he has seen NATO as a tool of Western hegemony, and its expansion eastward of US, it is creeping up on its Cold War enemy, that is Moscow. And Moscow, it perceives this as a threat of its national security, because you understand, as NATO moves eastward and very close to the borders of Russia, so there is a theoretical possibility that nuclear weapons belonging to France, belonging to UK, belonging to US can be deployed very close to the borders of Russia, and automatically this will be perceived by Russia as an aggressive move, right? So this is why it is seen as a security dilemma for Russia. Now, the possibility of Russia or Ukraine becoming a part of NATO has long been highlighted by Moscow as a declared casus belli. Casus belli means a reason for war, right? And that is why Russia, to secure its more than 2,000 kilometers land and sea border that it shares with Ukraine, now Ukraine has also expressed its willingness to join NATO. It's very critical to the national security of Russia, and therefore Moscow has been clear that if Ukraine joins NATO, it will be a declaration of war, and that is why it gave Russia an excuse to conduct its war with Ukraine. Although recently we have understood that Donald Trump, after he has become the president of the United States, he has said that Ukraine joining NATO would be quite impractical. So this marks a fundamental shift in Ukraine's policy. But still, the war between Russia and Ukraine is ongoing, and the major cause of this war was letting Ukraine become a member of NATO, or at least giving them the assurances that they will eventually become a member of NATO. So that is why this was perceived as an aggressive move by Russia, because now NATO literally is at the footstep of Russia. Understood? So this is why expansion of NATO eastward has been a cause of Russia-Ukraine war. Understood? Now, before solving the practice question, I have one thing that I wanted to tell you. Now, we were discussing about an important political and military alliance, that is NATO. Similarly, there are also other multilateral groupings like BRICS, like other multilateral groupings, or how the important multilateral bodies function. All of this is covered in the IR lectures which we provide in the Pratigya evening batches, right? Right now, the evening batch of 2026, we are taking admissions in the Pratigya evening batch, and these batch covers everything from prelims to mains to interview, right? So these are called as P2I batches. Now the admissions for these batches, which are available at 28,999, after you use the code ATS Live, the admissions for these batch will close on 15th of June. So to take admissions in these batch, what you need to do and to apply a discount code, let me demonstrate it to you, right? Now go to our StudyIQ IAS website, okay? Once you go to our website, you'll be seeing this page. Scroll downwards and there's an option for you to select the language. Now understand, most of you who are watching the videos, you might not be comfortable in Hindi or in bilingual batches, right? So what you need to do is click on English here. In English batches, we provide education or teaching exclusively in English, right? So to select the Pratigya batch, what you need to do, click Buy Now here. Once you click Buy Now, it shows that 35,999 is the course fees for Diamond batch. But I'll tell you a way where you can get admissions to these batch even on a discounted amount less than 35,999. What you need to do, there must be a code flashing on the bottom half of your screen that says use the code ATS Live to get maximum discounts, right? You have to use just that. To apply the code, click on Buy Now. Once you click on Buy Now, on your right, there is an option to add promo code. Click on this, and on the left, write ATS Live, click Apply. Once you click Apply, after writing ATS Live, see the discount of 7,000 rupees is now applied, and the Diamond course reduces from 35,999 to 28,999. Similarly, Platinum is at 23,999, Gold is at 13,999. Select either of these three batches accordingly as per your own needs and wishes. But if you ask my opinion, I will tell you opt for Diamond batch. Why opt for Diamond batch? Because getting Diamond batch gives you certain advantages. What are these advantages? Automatically you'll be getting live classes, lecture notes, one-to-one membership. But Diamond batch exclusively offers mains residential program. So suppose if you clear prelims, you'll be brought to Delhi, and every of your expenses, be it study related, living related, food related expenses, will be taken care of by StudyIQ, and you will be put in an atmosphere that promotes competition, that promotes excellence. And this is the benefit of mains residential program. Similarly, if you perform well during your test, you'll also be brought to Delhi before your prelims examination for much similar benefits like mains residential program. Additionally, you'll also be getting a selection box of books which are relevant from your exams perspective, Margdarshan, that is mentorship by faculties themselves, and scholarship, which are of two types. If you clear prelims, you'll be getting your full fees refund. And if you top your monthly test, you'll be eligible to get a financial reward of 11,000 rupees, right? All of these benefits are exclusively available in Diamond batches, and therefore I was recommending you to take Diamond batches. But do not forget to apply the code ATS Live. Please save your 7,000 rupees by applying the code. To make things easier, I've put this table which highlights what are the features available for Diamond and not so much for Gold and Platinum. So just do this math and take admissions for the batch which suits you the most, right? Now this practice question, before ending our today's discussion, I'd want each and every one of you to select and solve this practice question. Do let me know the correct answer in the comment section, and if you get it right, I will give your comments a thumbs up so you'll know that your answer is correct. And the notes for this session, if you want to download it, they will be available on my Telegram channel. This is called as ETS Live. So what you need to do, go to the select search bar of the Telegram app on the top right hand corner, write ETS Live and you'll find the group. And for some reason, if you still aren't able to find the group now, this is the QR code, scan it, you'll find the group. Subscribe to the Telegram channel if you still haven't, and download the notes. Okay, so this is all from my side. We'll see each other again. Please have a very good evening.
Every single book which have toppers suggested, but nothing worked for me.
आई वॉज लाइक कि नहीं होगा छोड़ देते हैं, नहीं हो रहा है तो क्या फ़ायदा इनको दोबारा पढ़ने से.
I would like to thank StudyIQ. I got connected to StudyIQ.
StudyIQ ने मेरा मेंस तक मैंने साथ दिया, उसके बाद भी उन्होंने मेरा साथ नहीं छोड़ा.
And I have taken this mock at StudyIQ.
And I would recommend StudyIQ.
Yes, I will recommend, definitely recommend StudyIQ.